CTV News with Ricardo Veneza.
In an increasingly unpredictable and unreliable world, we must focus on what we can control.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is taking a new tack in the ongoing trade war with the U.S., putting Canadian steel in the spotlight. Good evening. Hamilton was the backdrop for a new message from the Prime Minister to Canada's steel industry. Mark Carney says Canada will become its own best customer in response to U.S. trade antagonism. As CTV's Heather Wright reports, there are new measures at supporting that pivot.
This Hamilton, Ontario steel fabricator has been in business for 70 years and had been sending nearly 70% of its products south of the border. Now that number is close to zero.
This is Steel Town for a reason.
Today, the Prime Minister was in Hamilton announcing measures to help Canada's steel industry. By the end of the month, Ottawa will tighten the quota for steel coming from countries without a free trade agreement like China and Turkey to half of 2024 levels. Anything beyond that will face a tariff of 50%. This measure is aimed at reducing foreign steel that has flooded the Canadian market, much of it diverted here after the United States imposed tariffs on the global steel industry in March. And with Canadian steel producers effectively shut out of the U.S., Mark Carney says this will help them sell their products domestically.
For Canada to build big things fast, we need our steel industry to advance, not retreat.
As Canada embarks on massive infrastructure spending, the Prime Minister also announced that any companies bidding on government projects will have to use Canadian steel.
We will change the federal government's procurement process to require companies contracting with the federal government to source Canadian steel for government contracts.
The tightened quota and increased support for laid-off workers announced today come after the steel industry said measures announced last month didn't go far enough.
We got things going on south of the border. We can't control all of that. But what we can control is here in Canada. Let's make Canada the best.
Asked about ongoing trade negotiations with the United States, the Prime Minister would not say what level of tariffs Canada would accept, nor would he say whether Canada would impose additional retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods. He said both were good questions, but said answering them in the midst of trade talks would be a bad response. Heather Wright, CTV News, Hamilton, Ontario.
And still ahead, why First Nations are staging cross-country protests against both Ottawa's Bill C-5 and the Ford government's own Bill 5, both controversial attempts to fast-track major projects. Well, the trade war is already having an impact on some Canadian auto businesses. A survey from the Canadian Federation of Independent Business shows the revenue of nearly 190 small to medium-sized businesses in the auto sector has declined by 13% on average. It says half of those companies reported pausing or canceling investments because of the uncertainty injected into the global economy by tariffs and their erratic implementation. Now, the CFIB is also urging the province to restructure its auto industry support programs. A separate report from the group shows more than a third of those small to medium-sized businesses are ineligible for government aid, with the money targeted at larger manufacturers.
So we're asking the Ontario government to really relook at these programs and reassess the eligibility criteria and hopefully open it up to a greater number of small businesses. If this can't be done, then we're asking that they reallocate the money towards something like the small business tax rate, a measure that we know for sure, time and time again, when we survey our members, comes up as the #1 problem for growth. And so by kind of opening the financial pockets of small business owners, by leaving them more money in their pockets, they'll reinvest it back into their business and accomplish the same goals that these programs are already seeking to do in the first place.
The province says its Ontario Vehicle Innovation Network has supported more than 600 small and medium-sized businesses since its creation back in 2019. Now, when it comes to car sales, new figures reported by Statistics Canada paint a rosy picture on dealer lots. With a look at the picture from Windsor, Essex, let's go to our Robert Lothian tonight with more on that. Robert.
Yeah, Ricardo, I spoke with a general sales manager at a LaSalle dealership, and he says they are in the midst of a record year. That comes as Statistics Canada reports an overall increase in sales across the country, but analysts warn it could be short-lived. On the lot at LaSalle's Riam Chevrolet, cars are moving fast.
We're having a banner year. It's been just foot to the floor nonstop.
Despite initial concerns, the dealership has so far been left unscathed by tariffs and trade uncertainty. Instead, sales are up across the board.
If anything, it's maybe put a little bit of pressure on customers to, if you were concerned about the market, to get out early and get ahead of it.
That tracks with nationwide figures. Statistics Canada data shows a 5% increase in new vehicle sales in May compared to the same month last year.
The sales have been up a little bit in the months as we predicted, but that pull ahead still will balance out in the rest of the year.
Auto Forecast Solutions' Sam Fiorani believes consumers are trying to get ahead of higher costs that many predicted U.S. tariffs would bring.
Just because the prices haven't gone up in the first half doesn't mean they're not going to go up. The tariffs have just started to kick in, and that's the prices haven't affected the consumer.
Heading into the second half of 2025, analysts predict a slowdown. A new report from Scotiabank projects a softening of the market caused by a softer labor market and uncertainty.
If consumers don't like the prices in the second half, sales will go down, hoping that the prices will come down in 26.
On the sales floor, Howell says the work doesn't stop to keep turning cars over.
We can't expect anything to last forever. We need to do better and, earn more customers.
In the coming months, Fiorani says they will be keeping an eye on inflation and how that impacts vehicle costs. The latest inflation report from Statistics Canada showed car prices climbed more than 4% in June year over year. Meantime, used car prices were up close to 2%. Ricardo.
Okay, Robert, thank you for that report tonight. That's CTV's Robert Lothian. Well, we have an update tonight in the ongoing contract dispute between Canada Post and the union representing more than 50,000 of its workers. A vote is now set for Monday for workers to vote on a new collective agreement. It may be a sigh of relief for businesses in Windsor that rely on the national mail carrier, but a resolution is still a ways away. The Canadian Industrial Relations Board will run the vote for unionized workers between July 21st and August 1st. Ottawa stepped in last month as the Crown Corporation and union remained at an impasse with the threat of a countrywide strike hanging over those talks. The union has urged its members to vote no on that proposal and instead of taking to the picket line has ordered an overtime ban for its members right across the country. Well, StatsCan data also show the income gap hit a record high in the first quarter of this year. The difference in the share of disposable income between the highest and lowest paid households grew by a huge 49%. Those in the bottom 20% also say their wages dropped by 0.7%. Those in the top 20% saw their wages go up by 7.7% compared to a year ago. Well, now to a high-profile court case in Windsor, where a Windsor police officer was on trial for multiple cases of sexual assaults. As our Michelle Molesky tells us, the judge says she could not find Staff Sergeant Ken Price guilty on those charges.
One word.
Relieved.
Is how defense lawyer Dan Scott describes his client's emotions moments after being acquitted of 4 counts of sexual assault. Staff Sergeant Ken Price was charged last June for alleged offenses between 2011 and 2015. The female complainant alleged Price inappropriately touched her on 4 separate occasions, along with other allegations of sexually explicit commentary.
Are you able to say at all how the complainant is feeling at all?
Of course, not pleased and disappointed by the result.
Assistant Crown Attorney Nicholas de Montigny says they have 30 days to consider an appeal.
As with any case, the Crown will be considering whether to proceed on that route, and as such, the matter is before the courts, and I can't comment any further at this time.
While the judge found Price's testimony at trial to be self-serving and dismissive, she also found some of the complainant's evidence lacked common sense. I'm not finding that the complainant lied, Justice Jennifer Myers said. I find it highly likely that Mr. Price sexually harassed the complainant, but that's not what I'm here to decide.
The courts never want a complainant to feel bad about coming forward and testifying. I don't read anything into that. My opinion, for what it's worth, was that the evidence was very much different.
The judge said the Crown failed to prove beyond reasonable doubt the assaults occurred. And even if he likely sexually assaulted her, that is not enough for me, the judge said. Police Association President Kent Rice sat through the entire trial.
We need to adhere to the principles assumption of innocence until proven guilty and the integrity of the law and how it works for everyone. It's a process and nobody is above it. And in this case, it was the proper verdict.
Michelle Molaski, CTV News.
Meantime, Windsor police report a 13-year-old boy is charged for allegedly pointing a gun at a woman in the Walkerville area over the weekend. Police say it happened Saturday night in a parking lot on Langlois Avenue. The teen turned himself in on Sunday in London. No one was hurt in that incident. And over on our website, you can read about a Monday car fire in South Windsor being investigated as a case of arson. That's over at ctvnewswindsor.ca. We're learning tonight of a weekend crash that saw onlookers rush to the rescue off Walpole Island. Two boats collided in the Johnston River near Johnston Bay. Nearby boaters pulled 4 people from the water. They were taken to hospital. They are expected to recover from their injuries. Provincial police say they're still looking into the cause of that crash and exactly what happened there. Windsor Regional Hospital has announced changes are on the way for its leadership team, including the top job. David Misuse has confirmed he won't be returning after vacating the post to take on the top job at London Health Sciences Centre and its financial crisis. Acting President and CEO Karen Rydell will also be retiring no later than March 31st of next year. She also held the role of Chief Nursing Executive. The hospital's board says a search for both positions will begin later this summer. Now, Misuse says the problems in London run deeper than he had expected and issued a statement saying, quote, "I have heard firsthand both the organization and the broader London community are seeking stable, consistent leadership, and I remain fully committed to helping guide LHSC through its transformation." Kingsville has shot down a tourism tax that's already in place in Windsor. Town Council has decided not to move forward with a municipal accommodation tax. The charge would have been added to hotel and short-term rentals. Tourism Windsor Essex Peely Island has been pitching this tax across the region, arguing the revenue would be split between the agency and municipality in support of tourism. Kingsville administration raised concerns about enforcement, administration costs, and how exactly the tourism agency would be using those new funds. TWUPI wants a final answer from municipalities on that proposal by August 31st. In Essex, Mayor Sherry Bondi says she's calling out misuse of public garbage cans in the town. Our Chris Campbell reports the town is frustrated with the extra work it creates and its impact on businesses.
They're supposed to be for things like coffee cups, gum wrappers, or pet waste. But lately, some people have been treating these public bins like their own personal dump sites.
I've seen bags of garbage. People are literally putting bags of garbage, of their home garbage, beside our municipal pails. They're taking, bags of, the white kitchen catchers full of their home garbage, putting it in here. 1 or 2 of those bags, a municipal garbage is full.
Mayor Sherry Bondi shared her frustration in a public post to social media and tells CTV News the trend is unfair to town staff and local taxpayers.
When you see it once or twice, you're like, okay, maybe that's just once or twice, maybe the people are moving. But when you see it on a regular basis, it seems to almost be habits for some people.
Bondi says the bins fill up quickly when misused, sometimes spilling over, creating more work for town staff to clean.
We want our town to look clean. This is one way we can help work together to make the town clean.
I see all the time people pull up their cars and they got a couple bags and they're dropping them in.
People in town say they've noticed the problem too, and they're on board with the mayor's message.
I don't think that should be done.
There's no need for it. You can put it out to the road.
It's too bad when we have garbage pickup at our houses, and if you live in an apartment building, they always have a bin for you. So there's no need to put it on Main Street.
I think there should be a fine if you get caught. Something small, but just to say, we have the facilities to do it properly, and we don't need to do this.
The town says it's not looking to penalize anyone just yet, but hopes residents will think twice before turning public bins into private dumpsters.
We haven't talked about fines yet. Hopefully it doesn't get to that. We'll see. It's one of these things that we're monitoring. Right now, currently, we have employees scheduled once a week to empty garbages. But the more full they get faster, that's more employee hours. And it all comes into play at budget time.
Chris Campbell, CTV News.
Okay, after the break, Gary Archibald joins us with a look at potentially some stormy weather on the way in the region.
We've seen real success stories.
Still ahead, our Bob Belichico tells us how much a Windsor group providing health care for those living rough in the region is set to get from the province. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joining us now for a check of the forecast. Gary, I think most people heard it in Windsor, Essex. We had some thunderstorm activity this afternoon, and there may be more on the way.
You're right about that. Good evening once again, folks. We're talking about storminess because it's so hot and humid, very unstable components in the atmosphere, and that instability has meant localized and isolated at times scattered showers and thunderstorms this afternoon into the evening and possibly the overnight. Today was a seasonal day in terms of the daytime high, but that extra humidity, and it was high yet again, combined with the ambient temperatures, made it feel like about 40. It's been hot. And look at what we're dealing with through the upper Ohio Valley into southern Ontario proper. Scattered showers moving from southwest to northeast along that trajectory. It's a southwesterly flow. Will continue to be warm through the overnight and possibly looking at showers. There could be a secondary front pushing through by tomorrow mid-morning and through the early afternoon. I think we'll be mostly cloudy in the afternoon tomorrow. The high, not too impressive, but the humidity making it feel much warmer. The worst weather stays to the north and west of us across upper Michigan, but scattered showers, and again, if there's an isolated thunderstorm in your area, it could be very localized and intense. Overnight temperatures dropping to 22. I mean, that's 5 degrees above seasonal. Yes, we are cooler, but again, because of the humidity, 22 feels like about 28 to 30. It is warm indeed. Here's the breakdown for your Thursday. Is it Thursday already? Yes, 23 at 8 a.m. Feels like about 29. There's a slight chance of showers and or thunderstorm activity. It will be windy, by the way, throughout the morning, midday, and afternoon. Seeing a high of 27. That's seasonal. In fact, a degree below average, but we'll take it. It will feel like 35 in terms of the peak temperature and humidity combination late in the afternoon. Sunshine and cooler and more comfortable finally on Friday. High of 24, low of 14. The weekend's mostly cloudy, showers both days, more likely on Sunday, mid to upper 20s, and then we're warming up. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, going from high 20s to low 30s. The work week for most, Monday starts off fair, and then we'll see some showers through midweek. Wherever you are, enjoy a good night's rest and your weather.
Gary, thank you. Let's take a look at the markets where the TSX was back up today, 99 points off the strength of gains in the tech sector. You can see the Dow also up today, 231 points, and the tech-heavy NASDAQ also climbing 53 points. The Canadian dollar essentially unchanged today, resting around that 73-cent U.S. mark. Gold up more than $22 an ounce, and oil slides 18 cents a barrel.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
First Nations are fine-tuning their expectations ahead of a key meeting with the Prime Minister. A summit was called aimed at easing concerns about Ottawa's contentious Bill C-5, which Indigenous communities across the country have opposed. And Ontario's own version is also in focus for First Nations. CTV's Rachel Aiello explains.
First Nations leaders set expectations today for tomorrow's big gathering in Gatineau.
This is not consultation. This is a first meeting of many. This discussion will be led by us.
The Prime Minister organized the meeting to discuss the implementation of Bill C-5 after Indigenous stakeholders felt their rights were not respected in the rush to pass it through Parliament. They now want Carney to listen.
We're going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he produces tomorrow.
I'm a
bit more cynical. I do agree. I mean, just look at the process.
9 Ontario First Nations, though, aren't waiting, launching a legal challenge to the federal law and a similar provincial plan to try and prevent both governments from using their new powers to sidestep existing protections.
These bills from Ontario and Canada show that the Crown has no interest in reconciliation.
Today, Carney was asked,
have your belated consultations jeopardized the goal of getting new projects built?
Well, first, no.
He went on to say tomorrow's talks are about engaging on how to work together in the future.
What are the priorities? That's before any consultation on any specific project.
The Ontario government is also consulting First Nations this summer, with Premier Doug Ford's office promising to build consensus around projects that support prosperity. And Carney has additional plans to have conversations with Inuit and Métis leaders in the coming weeks. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Gatineau.
It's not just in Windsor, it's a phenomenon that's being seen right across the country. Getting homes built is very hard, and new data show that homes did edge up in June compared to May, but remain sluggish. Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation reporting a 0.4% increase in housing starts. That translates to roughly another 1,000 homes from the month prior, to a total of nearly 284,000 units. The CMHC adds the annual pace of rural starts was estimated at roughly 22,000 units. The province is providing more funding to support a program here in Windsor meant to bring health care to those living rough and on the streets. Our Bobby Chico brings us that story tonight.
We've seen real success stories.
The Windsor Shelter Health Association was formed in 2021 to deliver health care to those experiencing homelessness. The proof of concept model received in-kind support from Windsor Regional Hospital, CMHA, and the City of Windsor. The provincial government came on board last year, providing close to $3.9 million in funding through 2026.
The additional funding means sustainability.
The investment follows the government's recent approval of a homeless shelter alternate payment plan, or APP agreement, for local physicians. The group of Windsor physicians is one of 4 in Ontario receiving the designation and funding.
This funding is the starting funding, and I have strong feeling that we'll see each other again on this in the future.
The funding allows for 11 physicians, 8 general practitioners, and 3 specialists to continue delivering care to each of the 5 key locations in town, including the Salvation Army Men's Emergency Shelter, the Homelessness and Housing Help Hub, or H4, the Welcome Center Shelter for Women and Families, the Downtown Mission of Windsor, Journey Home Hospice, and various housing and supports sites. Shelter Health Medical Director Dr. Jennifer Bondi says they are seeing more patients who can walk in with no appointment.
When we build trust, then we can encourage people to continue to come in, and that is going to lead to improved outcomes, more preventative care, and so a lot less catching up afterwards, which is good for the healthcare system in general.
The initial stream of government funding has helped physicians provide over 5,000 visits across all shelters. They are seeing, on average, about 200 unique patients a month.
We've seen improvement in medication adherence and better follow-up on both chronic issues and acute health issues.
Officials have seen a reduction in emergency department use for issues now addressed at shelter sites instead.
There's a lot of good work going on across the province, and I think it's important to lean on what we know works and continue building in that way.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
Pure Country 89, Windsor's country music station. Pure access to the biggest stars and the hottest songs. Download the free iHeartRadio app to listen to Pure Country everywhere.
Harness horse racing is set to return to Leamington next month. The Lakeshore Horse Racing Association is gearing up for another season at Leamington Raceway, with 13 Sunday race dates on the 2025 calendar beginning August 10th. Association member Tom Bain says much work has gone into preparing the track, the grandstand, and the paddock for the races. He tells CTV sister station AM 800 they're hoping to build off last season's success, with crowds nearing 800 and one-day betting peaking at $86,000.
Our attendance has gone up each year, and our betting's gone up each year. So we're looking forward to another big season. We go down to Toronto and say, hey, look at our attendance. Hey, look at our betting. We broke the record twice last year for total betting, and we're seeking to gain a few more days if we can. Hopefully next year we'll have even more than our 13 Sundays.
Okay, Gary's back with a wrap of the forecast. And Gary, we might be in for a stormy Thursday.
You're right about that, especially in the morning, Ricardo. I think there's about 40 to 60% chance some isolated areas might, in fact, even see some very strong gusty winds with some significant downpour activity. So be wary of that confrontation, if you will, when you're headed outdoors. A high of 27 feels like 35. Late in the afternoon, say around 4 or 5 p.m. Sunshine and cooler, more comfortable on Friday. A high of 24. And then mid to upper 20s for the weekend, mostly cloudy. Showers more likely on Sunday than Saturday. Monday, Tuesday into Wednesday, a warming trend. Temperatures slightly above seasonal. Could we be into another heat wave? We'll have to see how humidity checks in. Wherever you are, again, have yourselves a good night. Enjoy your weather, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Gary, thank you. Well, finally for us tonight, Camp Day returned to Tim Hortons today with coffee, hot or cold, helping to get kids to camp in Windsor and right across the country. AM 800 and CTV team members were on hand at the Olette Avenue location this morning to lend a hand for the cause. Last year, the campaign raised $13 million nationally, but you can support Camp Day all year long.
So all throughout the year, we have the coin boxes. 100% of those proceeds go straight to the camps. And yeah, anytime you can, realistically, you can donate. It doesn't just have to be the 2 weeks leading up or the day of.
Okay, it looks like a fun day today, and I'm sure the kids will appreciate it. That is our time tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you again tomorrow at 6. Until then, I'm Ricardo, Veneza, and for everyone here at CTV on both sides of the camera, have a great night.